The next thing, the next screen that you should be brought into after you actually log in successfully is this screen here, and it should put your name there, etc. What you're going to do is create a new Glog, so I'll click on that. Again, we're working on accessibility, so we want to make sure that the Glog is accessible in many ways for as many users as possible. So we're talking about the universal design aspect involved. So we have a whole bunch of templates that we can choose from here. I'm going to start from blank to help guide us through. But like I said, there are templates that are standardized templates here. So I'm going to click on the blank one. And as things come into focus, we should be able to see everything. Very basic menus here to use. Basically, it's point and click. So what we're going to do is this. We can manipulate these by dragging them around, so they're basically text boxes. You see, as you click on something, it highlights and creates more bars, so we have things like hyperlinks. And apparently we have music in the background too. And now YouTube's off in the background that was doing things by itself. Alright, so now we're back to the Glog. So what we can do is we can add in text boxes. So I'm just going to delete some of the stuff that's on here because it doesn't serve my purpose. So I start with this blank page. So if I put text, it allows me to have a whole bunch of different text boxes. Okay. So I'm going to throw this one in for a second. And we're going to edit that one. We'll have you look at this though. So as we click on this, and we lost our toolbar, so if we click on tools, it comes back, okay? So there is permanence there. We have different styles too in the submenus, just so you don't get confused that there's only one particular sample template. And we can go from page to page navigating there if we want even more, okay? So I can type text in here. Okay, so if I double click, it takes me into the tools. Okay. There's also a hyperlink section here as well. If you click in there and you should get a cursor, you can type your text in here. Okay. So for instance, in this case here, I'll probably put an introduction, okay? And I'm going to put everything aligned left in at this point. And click back in here. Okay, so again, I can manipulate the text if I want to click on that, to remove the underline. With it highlighted, I can reduce the size of it or increase the size of it. Bold that one, change the color on it, etc. Okay, so once I've got that, again, that's fine. This time I need a little bit of a larger box. Use that. just a regular hidden text box. Again, I'll click in again, there's my cursor. Okay. Always good to put the actual website URL in, so students that have a hard time decoding written text, they can see that that's an URL that it's going to link out. Again, I'm going to swap that one out to this, to blue. X out of that box, and then I get back to my tools here. If I want to add in a link now, I can type that there. Brings me back to my toolbar. And I'll simply put in here, in the Add Here field, and that should work. Okay, so if I do that, hit the preview button at this point. Okay. Says the link's not available in preview mode. So I actually have to save it. So I have to go back to edit, save. And then we can put all kinds of information in there if we want to. So if I save it as public, then I should be able to see public's highlighted there. And we'll do social studies. And we'll do 8th grade. Unfinished. So if I do view this Glog, you'll see that the hyperlinks should become active. And there's a preview product there loaded. Sorry, I had to switch over to Safari. So at that point, you see a www appears when you hover over top. You click on it, it actually takes you to the website that we're targeting. So to get back to edit my blogs, then at this point, or Glog. So this is a sample that I've prepared for you. So you notice here we've got an introduction, so I actually have the target grade that's intended for plus the introduction with a role. Next I've got the ODE standards. Here I've recorded a little bit of video, a little applet there that's built in that you can also use. Then we talk about the process, so what students are expected to do, and that describes in detail where they're supposed to go. So here we tell them that they're supposed to go out to BubbleUs, which is a semantic mapping tool, and then they're supposed to look at the births and deaths of the relatives to map out a family tree, map out a timeline, really. Then they go over to the historical events here, and they try to match historical events to their family members' timeline. Finally, we go to RubyStar, which is a server that allows us to create a rubric online. I'm just going to go back over to Safari for a second. So if I click on that, you'll see that these hyperlinks actually they create a circle around it on these text frames. So we go over to RubyStar. Then we have a rubric created here, right? That actually takes care of our rubric needs. You can create a rubric from scratch using RubyStar. So if I go rubystar4teachers.org, then I create in a login here. I can save them indefinitely. So for instance, if I go to, let's take a look at one here. So go through here, you fill out the material, and then you can actually decide which pieces of the rubric go in. So organization here, amount of information, so we can actually drop them down and sort them out. So for instance, sources, internet use. And you see the information migrates in to the fields as you drop down those boxes. So it gives you a multi-level rubric, so it describes in each category what the student can expect, and then the point value. Then once we're done with this, we hit submit. Of course, you want to finish the demographic information up top. So. Not a temporary rubric, but a permanent rubric. It will make you make login information at that point. Then I hit submit, and it becomes this. Of course, I have all the other fields in there too. So the rubric's been saved at that point. Print or download, or make available online. If I hit make available online, then I have to create an existing account. It'll give me my URL, and then I can put the URL in the Glogster account. So I can actually add that to there to create that link out. And then that's pretty much it for the material. I mean, of course, you can go back to navigation, navigate your original page here again to get back to your Glog. And then within this, you can also add pictures and what have you as well. So for instance, if I edit this Glog, right, and I go back to the toolbar, which happens to be an older format toolbar here, right? But if I go to images, then I can add images in, I can upload them, and so I can upload an image to use from the internet and then bring it in as well. Okay.